Mr. Winston Churchill, what have you got to teach us? Let's go.
Yo, what's up, OG, triple OG?
Sometimes history hides examples of tremendous success and wealth from the eyes of ordinary people, passing them off as personalities far removed from the world of finance. One such example was the popular British Prime Minister Winston Churchill. Behind his political career during World War II, few people are able to see Churchill as a man whose advice and experience can help you change your life. Watch this video till the end because today's information could change not only you, but also the amount of money in your wallet. Work like a slave or act like a man. Churchill divided the sensible, industrious, and useful part of the population into two parts. The first, for which work is work and pleasure is pleasure, and the second, for which work and pleasure are the same thing. Most people belong to the first group and receive their compensation. Long hours in an office or factory are rewarded with livelihood and desire for various pleasures, which often take very simple and modest forms. But fortune's favorites are people from the second group. Their lives are in natural harmony. They never have enough set hours of work. Every day is a holiday for them, and the usual holidays on which they can't work are perceived as an annoying obstacle that prevents them from returning to their calling. Now, people simply hate being in the first group and are eager to join the ranks of the second one. But so far, all the advice on how to do this, look around and find your passion before choosing a profession or life's work, is just empty talk. It is much better to seek your calling, completely surrendering to some passion. It will not necessarily turn out to be your calling, but this way you will more likely find a way to it. And so it was with Churchill. He developed a deep love for the English language and reading from early years, which contributed to his career as a writer. But other areas were not so easy to him. He had to try hard to keep up in other subjects at school, and instead of university, he attended a military academy. His writing career did not begin in early age, and all because of the real passion of his whole life, war. Churchill wanted to go to the front in any military conflict. And when he was not allowed to participate in battles as a military man, he got a job as a correspondent for a newspaper in order to still get into the arena of hostilities. When the public liked his reports about what was happening, Churchill decided to write a book about his findings. And already in the process, he realized that the work of the writer brings him much more pleasure than a military career. Thus, he found out his calling. That is, Churchill did not sit at home endlessly reflecting and searching for his vocation. He was engaged in what captured him and brought him pleasure, and through that, he found his true calling. And not only him. Many people have found their life's work simply by trying what interests them at the moment.
Makes sense.
Be an actor, play the charismatic. The conventional wisdom says that a leader must be a humble man. The press today writes with affection about Ingvar Kamprad, the billionaire founder of IKEA, who flies only in economy class, or Bill Gates, whose house automatically turns off the lights when no one is there. But it is a well-known fact that Churchill was exorbitantly ambitious from his youth. He never pretended to be too modest, and he didn't need to be. He didn't need it because he had the most important quality for a leader, charisma. And the most interesting and deprecation. As a young man, he did not even know how to conceal them. In 1924, when Churchill lost the parliamentary election, Lloyd George, secretary to the British ex-prime minister, said, "Churchill looks so lost that he can hardly speak." But over time, the great general came up with a visual style of his own. A cocky fat man with a cigar, fingers folded in a V, which stood for victory, that in public protected the inwardly vulnerable politician like armor. And we can only guess at the effort it took for him not to show his depression, an illness that modern science says is chemical in nature, and therefore cannot be cured by some psycho training. This is a very important lesson in Winston's life, because everyone has weaknesses or negative character traits, but in the end, those who are able to cope with them or carefully hide them win. For the future millionaire, this message is vital, because the fight within yourself should be the beginning of your way to wealth. Future millionaires, now I need your support like never before. It's very easy to show it. All you have to do is give this video a thumbs up. It's easy to do, and you will make me so happy. Thanks. When you fall down, make yourself get up. In addition to his charisma, Churchill developed another crucial quality for any leader in politics or business. He became a fighter over time. He rose up after defeats that would have defeated him for good. For example, in 1915, as the first Lord of the Admiralty, he was one of the initiators of the Dardanelles operation, which ended in total failure and tens of thousands of dead and maimed British sailors. And so he was forced to resign. However, already in 1919, he accepted the post of Minister of War.
Excellent hat by Mr. Winston Churchill here. The top hat, the felt top hat with the bow tie. Very stylish.
And Minister of Aviation, but not because he was extremely self-confident. It's as quickly as possible. Cover your cynicism with the right words. In 1943, during Churchill's premiership, 3 million people starved to death in Bengal, formerly part of the British Empire. Madhusri Mukherjee, author of Churchill's Secret War, claims that at the same time, 170,000 tons of wheat from Australia, which could have saved the starving, went past India to Europe, as the British Prime Minister was already thinking about what to feed Europeans after the war ended. Churchill's admirers write that he had difficulty getting his priorities right in the situation of 1943, but this is hardly an excuse for a man in the Prime Minister's office. Anyways, as cynical as it sounds, who remembers this now? Except the Hindus themselves. The proof is that, when recalling Churchill's inherent political cynicism, it is not the unfortunate Hindus they are talking about, but his switch from conservative to liberal party and back again. Trust your gut and be selfish. A worthy match for this cynicism, without which one cannot succeed in either business or politics, was Churchill's famous intuition. These days, a quarter century after the crushing defeat of the...
Be selfish? You mean... You're encouraging to be selfish, not selfless, but selfish, interested.
Former Soviet Union in the Cold War. Few remember that Churchill was its first and most consistent apologist. Having become a fierce opponent of Bolshevism in the early 20th century, he always remained so, taking only a brief tactical respite during World War II. But less than a year after its end, he gave the famous Fulton speech, which is considered the beginning of the Cold War. And it was probably the last time in world history
the famous Fulton
that its
speech, yes, I know it well.
Trend was marked by the representative of Britain, which soon turned from an empire over which the sun never sets into a quite ordinary European country. It is not for nothing that Churchill was the third son of the 7th Duke of Marlborough, a descendant of the most noble British family. He behaved like a real duke, cynically, intelligently, selfishly. Of course I'm selfish, otherwise, what good would it do? Valuable experiences always bring money. If you want to truly become rich, you need to perceive not only the experience of today's billionaires and the rich, but also listen to the advice of successful historical personalities. In your heads, there must be a cocktail of information which would help you get out of any situation and lead you to the big money you want. Carefully analyze the experience of Winston Churchill, his path to success, his character traits, his steps and thoughts. It will help you become a rich and successful person.
Perfect.
And there we have it, Mr. Winston Churchill. Don't try and money will come to you. If you like the video, please like and subscribe.